welcome to another episode of the Gifted SpoilerCast, which I'm going to be naming these episodic little gifted, spoilercast, the Gifted SpoilerCast, which makes sense or whatever. I mean, it's still a take one spoilercast, but in the same sense, it's, episodic because, I'm doing each episode and all that stuff. So this episode is going to be dropped late. Last week was just not a good week. And so I'm going to be dropping it this week, as well as going to be dropping a, spoiler cast for episode 7. So you'll be getting 2 of the Gifted spoiler cast this week. And so I'm just going to be talking about it. Talking about it now, and then later on this week you're going to hear episode 7 and all that stuff. I still need to watch it, but whatever. So in this episode, called Got Your SPOILERCAST, it's basically, we get to know a little bit more about the characters. It dive more into it. Dive more into the situations and everything. And so this episode starts off with Johnny, aka Thunderbird, who is trying to raise money to help out, just the people that were affected by the mutant human protest thing that went horribly wrong. The incident that killed Agent Turner's daughter. And so you get a sense of like just the people don't want to, help because of, they blame the mutants just for that and all that stuff. And so we get to the point where, Johnny, he's like pissed, and so Postie's there to stop him, like, calm down, this and that, blah, blah. And then you get these idiots, just people that just don't want them to do that because they feel like, of course, mutants are responsible that, this and that. So they throw a bomb out there, and so then you get Johnny protecting the people from it and all that stuff, as well as Post protecting certain people. And it just showed the lengths that people will go to just for their prejudice. Am I saying it right? Prejudice. God dang it. I cannot speak right now. You start to get tired and then your speech just goes out the window. Prejudice. You know what I mean. The prejudice. And so, yeah, I mean, it showed, and it showed, it has more of a connection to, like I said before, for those who didn't know that, the X-Men was based off of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and stuff like that, which you can kind of see the similarities. And I guess you could say humans being black people, because they're both treated as, below, just everyone else, or just below white people and whatever. And it's like, this is one of the incidents that you see it at work with, like, this program with the X-Men and all that stuff. And it's crazy. Like, this guy, Johnny, who just wants to help people, humans and, like, mutants alike. And he sits there and he risks himself. Well, not really risks himself, because I believe his power is like he's just invulnerable. But, he protects people from a bomb, from just like people, just regular humans that is just throw bombs, just trying to stop them, not really realizing that there are humans around there as well. That they're not all just mutants around that area. That you're going to hurt, a lot of people. And he sits there and he protects them people that really don't care for mutants. So it's kind of crazy. And then we get a continuation of the whole thing with Dreamer implanting the memory inside of Blink, and basically giving her feelings for Johnny, which she doesn't have, or she didn't have at first. And now all of a sudden she has it. And so she's putting, like I said in the last episode, she's putting 2 and 2 together, and she's realizing everything that's happening. And so, yeah, so she confronts Johnny about it, and Johnny tells her, like, it was wrong, he knew about it, and that, it was to save the team. People would have died if she hadn't did that. And it's like, he's basically showing that he didn't condone it, but he sees her reasoning. He sees Dreamer's reasoning for doing it. And so that doesn't sit well with Blink, which Blink, she freaks out, and then she just, not, I ain't gonna say freak out, but she gets mad, which, who can blame her? This happened to any one of us. We have feelings for somebody that we don't like or never had feelings for before, and all of a sudden you have feelings for them, and it's basically, in a sense, you used me to benefit someone else. No matter how good how what it was done for, that it was good reasoning behind it, you still used me for this, and you didn't tell me. So I mean, it's understandable why she's mad. And so it's like I don't know. It's kind of like a funky type of situation. I mean, of course, it's a storyline. This is in real life, but still in the same sense. It's kind of crazy. As well as throughout this episode, we had basically the whole episode. The main story was them trying to find out more information to find out what happened to Pulse. What did they do to him? Because from what Johnny and Eclipse and all the rest of them remember was that Pulse was, he was dead. That's what they remember. So with him showing up, working for the Sentinel services, now they're trying to figure out what the hell was done to him. What did they do to him? So they send what's his name? We got Strucker. Okay, Reid Strucker. There we go. I had it and I lost it and then I regained it. So yeah, we have Eclipse, and then we have Reid, and then he ends up taking Andy along, and so they're basically sent to retrieve some files that's going to help them find out what happened to Pulse and what they did to him and everything of that nature. And so it was the one scene that just kind of like stood out to me. It's like I mentioned before, I love the use of their powers. When you look at certain people and their powers, you don't think too much of it. You see Eclipse. He can basically make sunlight through his palms of his hands. Okay, whoop-de-doo. It's like, okay, what, you gonna blind people? I mean, what can you use that power for? But as the episodes go along, he uses his power for different things. He can melt things. He can like concentrate it through beams of his fingertips and his palm to where he can melt stuff. And it's like, okay, that could be useful. Of course, if you're trying to get away with people, you can kind of, blind them temporarily by shining a light in them. And he has different uses for them. And one of the things that he did was actually pretty cool, was that he took the sunlight, or he just took the light from a room, basically at the end of, when he gets into the, when the cop, stops the truck that Eclipse and Reid and Andy is in, or whatever, in the back, and the cop goes around and look in the back. Before the cop can actually open up the door, Eclipse, this motherfucker, he takes the light away to where all it is just darkness surrounding Eclipse and all the rest of them. So when the cop opens up the back door, the trailer, he doesn't see anything. All he sees is like the supplies and stuff like that on the ground, or on the floor of the trailer, but he doesn't see anything beyond that because it's too dark for him to see. And I'm like, that's actually pretty cool. Like, I like that, man. And it amazes me. Like, I don't know if he was able to do that in the comic book, or this is something that they did for the show, or whatever, but I love the use of his power. I loved it. It was actually pretty cool. It makes me like, damn, if I had his power, I literally wouldn't mind it. Shit, I'd take the light out of any room and just like throw it back, like, scare the shit out of people. Like, that'd be funny as hell. But yeah, and so along with this, it also follows like Reid and Andy, Reid and his son Andy, and them just trying to tighten their bond, because with him being a person that tracks down, or he used to be a person that tracks down mutants and locks them up. Andy had to hide his power and hide what he is from his dad because of that situation. And then everything that happened after that with him losing control of his power, people getting hurt, the Sentinel service coming after him, and now Reid is on the run and trying to protect them. Reid got captured and then got free, and now he's back. All the stuff that happened, they, I guess you could say, kind of lost that bond. If they even, what? I guess you could say had lost their bond, because I'm not going to say like they just from a broken home, but you know, they kind of lost the bond with each other. And so this whole episode was just them trying to like rekindle that bond that, you know, the father and son has, you know. And you see him, like Reid, he really wants to get through to Andy, and Andy, he at times he could be a hothead. As we got through like the episodes, he can be a hothead. He could be one of them kids that just loses it at any like point in time, and then, you know, his powers start to work. And it's like Reid is really trying to get to him. He's trying to talk to him. He's trying to bring him down back to earth. And so I kind of like that. He's really trying. It's like you could see that like his character really wants that bond back with his son. And so by the end of the episode, we get that bond back. You know, we get that bond has been missing between them and all that stuff. Not saying that we like, you know, we followed them for like 10 seasons and stuff like that, but you can kind of tell that they had some type of bond before, you know. Like I said, it wasn't a broken home. It was a happy home. Probably not like extremely happy, like they were just, everybody was just fine with everything, but still in the same sense, you know, it was the type of home where, you know, it wasn't, you know, that bad. Reid was around, but, you know, just the circumstances that surrounded it, you can tell that they kind of lost the bond. And so this episode shows them getting that bond, you know, tightened. And also, one thing that I noticed is that this is connected to the X-Men film universe. I think. I'm starting to question it. But in the same sense, the continuity, like I've mentioned before, or if you know you've watched the X-Men movie, it's very blatant that these the continuity for these movies and stuff, this connective universe, they just don't care anymore. You know, they just don't care. They have it connect a little bit, like this connects to that, but when it comes down to it, it just it's out the window. But so in saying that, the question still lies: where is the X-Men at? The X-Men is constantly getting mentioned, like this is what the X-Men want. The X-Men chose me. X-Men. And we get the thing that the X-Men are gone. So the question is, what happened to them? Why are they gone? Of course, we see the mutants are still around, but it's like, what happened? You know, what happened to them? You know, it doesn't answer that question. Then on top of that, it's like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess you can say not on top of that, but it's just constantly getting like thrown around like X-Men. So I really want to know what happened to them. Like, where did they go? Why did they disappear? Who was all part of this X-Men? Like, if it is not connecting to it, like, I don't know. It's just it's so many questions around that. And then with that, you got Johnny questioning himself with the X-Men. You know, the X-Men, I guess Professor Xavier or whoever from the X-Men had chose him to lead the mutant underground, to keep mutants safe and all that stuff. I guess in a sense kind of bring back up the X-Men. And yeah, and he's just really questioning himself. He's sitting there thinking like, what if they were wrong? And so the question is posed, well, not the question posed, but the statement is posed to him by Dreamer. I believe it was Dreamer. They said that, like, you know, the X-Men chose you. They said it was going to be a war. And Johnny says they didn't say we were going to win the war. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, that is kind of a true statement. I mean, I wasn't there, but in the same sense, you know, you kind of think, like, you know, if they constantly say, like, it's going to be a war, it's like, damn, like, are we going to win? Of course they wouldn't know, but still in the same sense, you know, like, damn. But in any case, so, and also we get into this episode, which kind of shifts it a little bit. Okay, so we got the motivations behind Agent Turner's, you know, him wanting to get the X-Men. Not the X-Men, the mutants. We got his motivation. His daughter was killed by that, and then it just pushed him to, just want to like just take him down. So it's mostly kind of like emotion driven. So I mean, like I said, we get that. We understand his motivation. We understand his mind frame. And so in this episode, it was kind of introduced to this new character. I didn't write down the name. Damn it. But anyway, it was a scientist. He seemed like he's a scientist. He was part of a company that works with the Sentinel services, or that the Sentinel services work for his company, or whatever it is. And so, you get that this new guy, I'm gonna call him bad guy. We get that bad guy is going to be the bad guy. The main bad guy by the end of this season. It seems like Agent Turner is going to be one of those bad guys that, because that this happened to him, that he has the potential to turn to the other side to help the mutants. Either that or have sympathy toward the mutants. And then this other guy, the bad guy, is going to be the main bad guy. And him and Agent Turner are going to clash heads, which it seems like they did, because, Agent Turner came back before he was like, ready, or before they thought they put out that he was ready to come back. And so basically bad guy comes in and tells him that, okay, you give me all the stuff that you got on the Mutant Underground and all these people, and yeah, and you can basically stay and still do your job. And so Agent Turner realizes that one of the people that works for the Sentinel services, he looked like his eyes look kind of like he's been up for a little bit, like he ain't had sleep. He got a new tattoo on him and stuff like that. So he knows that bad guy and his group or his company had did something to this agent. And so it's like he was just kind of like peeping at, just questioning, like, just, okay, what the fuck? You could tell through his eyes, like he was just like, what the hell is going on? And so when it came down to it, he just like, okay, I'm gonna give you everything. And then he gave him his card, and so he's like, whatever. And so you can sense a little bit of tension, just a little bit of tension between both characters or whatever. And I'm just excited not excited, but I'm curious to see what's going to happen after that. And so I love the way that they did. So when Eclipse and Andy and Reid all get to the place, and they get the files and stuff that they need help getting back. And so I kind of like how they did it. So during the while they was up in the Mutant Underground, Caitlin, well, I ain't gonna say Caitlin, Lauren, she was basically getting close to this other guy who has a power to where he can create, I guess you could say, mirages or just images out, just in front of people, to make it seem like something totally different. And so her and Polaris and him basically all band together to help, her father, her brother, and then Eclipse, and of course the truck driver, all get to safety. And so what they did was that they had Polaris stop the bullets. They had Lauren create this type of force field, this air force field, to lift the truck over the police cars so they can get past them. And then they had old boy do a mirage to where it looks like the truck was going a different way than what the truck was actually doing. And so the police was getting thrown off the trail, and they were able to get to safety. So, I mean, like I said, man, the use of their powers is actually pretty cool. I like it. I like that scene. And then this episode ends off with Escape. Eclipse getting a phone call from his ex, collecting on a debt that he owe her, that if any time that she calls, no questions, you come. And so he basically has to do what he do, or else she will call the Sentinel services and let her know all that she knows. Well, let them know all that she knows. And we end the episode right then and there. Now, like I said, this is being thrown up late, so I'm going to be doing episode 7 later on this week. And so, yeah, with that, this concludes this Gifted SpoilerCast. And I'd like to thank you guys for listening. And go ahead, check it out again. If you like this one, check out the next episode. Check out the other episodes as well if you haven't yet, and all that stuff. Go ahead, hit that like up button. Wow. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that way you'll be notified for anything that drops on my channel. And yes, I will catch you guys on the next one. So peace out.